What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and today we have got some news. As always, I know I say that every time, but the sports world here in Cleveland is never short of any headlines or any news that's going on. Uh, it's not quite as crazy right now, but we're getting there. We are a couple weeks away. Actually, I think 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, Drew. And we're not really going to discuss the draft a whole lot today at all. We're still going to end with our mock draft, but we're getting there. And I think we're both still like very bored with the whole draft talk. So not really going to get too involved in it. But before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of this episode, my friend, how are we feeling today? How are we doing with this crappy weather and just the vibes right now?
I mean, the weather is trash, but I can say it's been a great week with the Guardians sweep and the Cavs clinching the number 1 seed. So it makes up for the crappy weather.
It does. And honestly, I feel really bad for the Guardians for even having to play in this shit weather because opening day was not only a cold and just gross day, it was also like the most boring baseball game you could ever play. I mean, it was one of those games I think we had a combined like 4 hits between the two teams, shit ton of walks. The game literally ended on a walk with the bases loaded because thank you, Michael Levinger, once again for helping Cleveland out one more time. By the way, he has made a like the worst kind of 180 that you could ever imagine because he was an ace at one point for us.
Yeah, he was. And well, I think it's because he had a lot of injuries after he left after we traded him. He ended up getting a lot of like shoulder injuries and arm injuries and backs and stuff like that. Like he was consistently like in and out of teams and stuff like that with injuries out the wazoo. And he tried starting and it just didn't work out. So the teams just started throwing him in a bullpen and he just hasn't been the same. So I think the injuries have really derailed his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, he was a great fucking pitcher.
Oh yeah, he was he was awesome. It's just the injuries are sort of piled up on him. He's getting older, and it's just not. I mean, now he's a bullpen guy, and he doesn't really seem to be doing well. I put the freaking blur on, and I'm gonna take it off because it's ruining my camera quality so much. Sorry about that, guys. If you're on YouTube, you probably saw me just glitching the hell out there. We're not gonna do the blur screen. I tried to do that, but I did clean up the room a little bit, so it's not as bad. Everything else on the other side out of me, different story. But you don't have to see that. That's the beautiful part about angles. But anyways, so yeah, the Guards just got done sweeping the White Sox, which is not a very hard feat. But to have 10 games into the season to finally get to your season opener at home is brutal. And that's why I wasn't too concerned about the slow start. Again, the Sox are a pretty crappy team. You're coming back to playing the Royals at home after this starting tomorrow. So it's 2 good series for us to sort of come back and get our legs back under us. The starting rotation is starting to get their feet under them too. Today, Gavin Williams had a great outing. He didn't go, 7 innings deep, but he didn't have to. He went 5 solid innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 2 walks, only 3 hits given up. And then the bullpen did the rest, which Cantillo got to close out. He went like 2 and 2/3 of an inning and just sliced them down. Super easy. So Cantillo is fitting very well, I think, in the bullpen. And I think if he continues to play well like that, he could certainly find his way into the rotation if a guy like Luis Ortiz continues to struggle the way he has. But guys like Bieber, obviously Gavin, or not Bieber, Bybee, Gavin, even Ben Lively had a really nice night the other night as well. And even Logan Allen had a nice night. Last night wasn't anything super crazy, but a better game than his first game, which obviously was against the Padres, which is a tough team to play against at your first game. So I'm not overly concerned yet with the starting rotation, but one guy in that clubhouse is Clase. I'm not worried, but he just seems a tad off. Like he still seems like he's in that same mindset that he was in the playoffs, where he still has his velo, and honestly, he's still getting his stuff where he wants it to be. Like the velocity again, it's not shy. It's still at 99 to 101, but guys are just getting hits on him. Like
Yeah.
he honestly almost lost it last night. Had it not been for the White Sox player blowing out his hamstring going to home, they would have tied that game up, and then we're going to talk about, oh, we won 2-1 in the series. And so Clase may need some time to sort of figure things out. We got to be a little bit patient with him, because he is good. He has been good for so long, but it is a little bit concerning for me. I don't know how your feelings are about it, but he's one guy that I'm getting a little concerned with right now.
Yeah, and I've noticed this trend, and someone mentioned it on Twitter too, that it seems like every other year, Class A just like is like back and forth, like, and it's like,
Yeah, that was Sean that said that.
yeah, it was
That was
odd,
Sean.
yeah, like the odd years, like in
He's weird.
2023, he was Class A wasn't the greatest, like he was good, but he wasn't
Yeah,
like last year good, like last year he was the best pitcher, like probably in MLB history,
yeah,
like last year. But then obviously the playoffs happened, and we don't discuss what happened in the postseason. But it's like in 2023, yeah, he was great, but he wasn't like under
elite. Yeah,
a
he wasn't
one.
elite like he was
And
last year.
and then, but it was the same in 2021 where he wasn't elite, but he was great.
Yeah,
So it seems like every other year he kind of just like has this thing where it's like he's either really good or he's like elite or he's just good. And this is probably the year he's just good. And again, the Guardians are coming off of a stretch where they played like Class A, pitched in Kansas City when it was cold. Obviously, he had the cold day.
yeah,
Um, and then you didn't get to see him much during the Angels and the Padres series because both teams beat you basically. Um, and you come back to the cold, and he does a little bit better, obviously at home in Cleveland. But again, he still gave up a couple hits, and unfortunately for Chicago, they were going to score a tying run to send it to extra innings, but their guy pulled up with a pulled hamstring on the way around third and got tied out for the final out. So unfortunately, that costed them extra innings and whatnot. But again, that's what we talk about. The cold does to you. The cold screws you, really, in a sense.
yeah.
Like, he's just rounding third. Next, he pulls up, and that's what happens when you don't warm up and you don't continue to stay stretched out, and you just sit there. But it affects the pitchers the same way, man. Like you're just sitting there, and the only thing you could do is just put a jacket over your arm to make sure it stays warm.
Right.
Otherwise, what are you gonna do? Throw pitches in the dugout? Have someone get down and play catch with you? You throw pitches in like that's not gonna happen. So it's unfortunate, but guys like Class A and stuff, people forget where they're from. They're from the Dominican. They're from Puerto Rico. They're from these warm, very warm climates, and they're not used to 30 degrees and
Right.
rain. So it's not his fault that you know. And again, pitches like you said, the velocity and the location are there, but again, when it's the cold weather or if you're just pitching in Colorado because of the height of the city or whatever. I keep forgetting the elevation is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. The elevation
Yeah.
pitches don't move that well in the cold or in the elevation. They move, but they don't move a lot.
Exactly.
And Class A's cutter is supposed to move a lot, but when it's again 30 degrees, it don't move much.
Right.
So he will find it. I just think it needs to, and I'm not making excuses. It just needs to get a little bit warmer out. And the the best he can do is just continue to just do what he does, and that's just locate his pitches, which he's been doing, and just praise that there's swings and misses and or just ground outs or flyouts. So it's just a part, and people don't realize it's just a part of the game, man.
Yep. It is.
It's just a part of the game.
And it's a long freaking season. Like, we have
162
to
games.
understand, like, that is why, like, sure, I am saying that I am like a little concerned, but I'm not like blowing my head off over it. Like, I'm not going to blow a gasket on Twitter. It is a little frustrating, but it is what it is. Like, again, this is such a long season,
Mm-hmm.
and we've already said this too. Um, this lineup is going to look a lot different come June and July. Like, that's when you
Yeah.
are going to get guys like Shane Bieber back. That's when you
Yeah.
are going to get David Fry back in the lineup very well. And who knows if a guy like Juan Brito or anybody like that is going to be here as well. Like, there's just a lot
Yeah.
of variables and a lot of different things that are going to change at some point
Mm-hmm.
for this team. So um, there's just no reason to get too uptight about it.
Yeah.
Um, it will get itself fixed. This team is built well. It's just it's a slow start. And again, I go back to what Sean said, where he just didn't expect this team to start off as hot as it did last year, and I think he was dead on. So, uh, listen, if you're gonna listen to anybody on X, just go follow Sean.
Yeah.
Uh,
For
I think
sure.
Sean, I think Sean gives great advice.
Absolutely.
And I think he's very in tune with the game, and that's not just because I'm buddies with him. It's generally because he's just a very well informed guy. And he knows his stuff, especially when it comes to baseball. When it comes to baseball, Sean is the guy that I trust with my whole fucking heart. But anyways, um, to get back to the series win and everything. Obviously, Stephen Kwan 4 hits today, four ribbies. Manzardo also added a home run as well
So did
earlier on
Quan.
in the game. Kwan did as well with one of his 4 hits. And so those two guys are playing outstanding. I think
Yeah.
you're getting great at bats from guys like Santana, even Nolan Jones is having some good at bats. He's just not able to get the ball down. It's getting caught, or he's getting grunted out. But he is going deeper in his at bats. It's not like he's striking out in 3. So there is some very good positives, but one guy that you and I have brought up quite a bit on Twitter lately, especially, has been Bo Naylor,
Yeah.
for a few different reasons, and I will let you kind of discuss your points on this. But to me, I mean, we all know that he's pretty inconsistent as a batter. He has times where he's hot, where where he's able to sort of drive the ball, and he can even get uh, his slugging percentage up a little bit and crush some home runs. But he goes through a lot of droughts where he has strikeouts after strikeouts and the ground outs. And when you combine that with his kind of poor defense behind the plate, and just how he seems to call games, and it's sure his immaturity behind the plate is going to eventually catch up to him. And I'm really afraid that he will not be able to withstand the whole year. Uh, if this is his 3rd year now that he's been heavily involved with the team, and he's
Yep.
still showing these signs of struggling. Like, Bo Naylor could be a guy that I could see him so sort of forcing his way out of the lineup along with Brian freaking Rocchio as well. So go ahead and share your thoughts. But yeah, so far Bo has not been up to par at all.
Yeah, no, and like you said, this is basically his kind of like 3rd year, air quotes, because I would say like 2.5, because he got called up in the middle of the 23 season. Basically Tito's last year as manager. He got called up like right in the middle towards the end of the season, and was getting like regular appearances behind the plate. And he showed promise. He showed that he could hit the ball. He showed that he could play solid defense like he did in AAA. Like, he was phenomenal in AAA, and he was a guy where you couldn't keep him down there because he was, like we said, he was raking in AAA, batting around like 270, 280. You see his great defense on film from Columbus Clippers, Twitter and stuff like that. And, it's like, okay, great. We finally have since Yan Gomes, we finally have a great catcher. And then it comes to be that last season he was okay behind the plate and hitting. He was below average. He wasn't at the 270, 280 like he was in AAA. He was batting more like 170, 180.
Right.
And everyone just kind of like, what the hell happened to him when he was batting so well in AAA? Now he's not even hitting a baseball.
Yeah.
And we thought, could it be a distraction with his brother on the team? And, could there be other things? And it turns out, starting this year, again, he can't hit the baseball well. He did get a hit today. And again, it could just be, for him, a slow start. And, maybe he'll turn things around, but his defense hasn't shown this season. I mean, for the one run that they did score today, everyone was blaming Gav or some people. We know who. Or I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, we all know.
But he mentioned, well, Gavin Williams needs to step up because he gave up a run or whatever because he threw 2 curveballs into the dirt. I was like, well, you could also blame the catcher because he also needs to get in front of the baseball when he's catching and prevent that run from getting home. And when the first one happens and he just sticks his arm out and it hits him barely hits him in the side of the chest because he's trying to barehand it and hits him in the side.
Yeah.
Okay, now that guy has a free third base. What's the next thing you do? Next pitch? Same thing happens. Ball bounces into the dirt, and instead of sticking his chest out and moving and getting his chest on it to kind of deflect it a little bit towards him, he tries to, first baseman in, tries to pick it off.
Yeah.
And he completely whiffed it, goes behind, run scores, and it's a 1-0 ball game in the top of the first inning. That's on your catcher. Like, yes, could Gavin do better? Sure. But again, we talk about pitchers in the cold. Curveballs are very difficult to throw in the cold because
you can't grip the ball as well.
You don't grip the ball as well, so it slips off your fingers. And that's why you see kind of Gavin abandon the curveball for the rest of the day. Like, listen, it's just going to keep slipping off my fingers. We're just going to throw changeups and fastballs because that's the only thing that's going to work right now. That's the only thing I can get a grip on.
Right.
So, and it sucks because Gavin's curveballs are nasty.
Yes. His off-speed stuff is good.
But he can't throw them because it's too cold and it slips off his fingers. And plus, too, it rained a little bit today, so it was a little wet, too. So,
yep.
It spells disaster trying to throw those curveballs and you spike them in the dirt half the time. So,
but, in his first appearance, like, Gavin was doing really well with his off-speed stuff.
Yeah.
And yet Brian and yet Bo continue to try to have him throw fastballs. And, like, man, you got to understand what is going to work not only for Gavin, but also against certain players and certain teams.
Yeah.
Like, there's just some guys, like, especially a team like the Padres, like, these guys are going to rake when it comes to hitting. Like, they are going to beat you down if you throw the meatballs. And when you throw your fastball, I don't care if it's 99, those guys are good enough to hit it. And, you can kind of get away with it with teams like the Sox, but it's not going to happen every time. So you got to be able to dial back and at least have more in your repertoire against these teams in order to really combat them. So it's I hope that the pitching coach gets with Bo and says, listen, you have got to start taking some more action in these games. And if not, then I am going to have my pitchers do what they need to do and control their own sort of destiny in this way because they just can't trust him. Where it's like, even with Hedges, like, that's honestly, I think, one of the main reasons they brought him back for the last 2 years, especially with, when it comes to Shane Bieber, because when we lost him and we had those 2 bums that we had going at freaking catcher, Shane did not pitch well that year. He didn't have his trust in his guys. Meanwhile, fucking Tito loved them. So as soon as we got him back, it seemed to Shane, every time he pitched, Hedges was behind the plate. And I think that's how it's going to go for some of these guys. And I think as a coach, you need to identify that and be able to say, listen, this is what I like. And there may even be guys that, that prefer Fry. And if Fry comes back and he's able to play some catcher, it's going to knock Bo down a little bit, I think, especially if he continues to struggle at the plate, man. I'm telling you what, it is not going to be a pretty sight. And we can sort of say the same thing when it comes to Brian freaking Rocchio. He is terrible at shortstop. he had 2 hits today, so at least he's able to hit the ball. But it's not consistent. And again, when you can't play defense, it doesn't matter how good of a hitter you are. If you can't play on defense, especially at a key spot like shortstop, that's rough. That's
Mhm.
very, very rough. Even more so when Arias is playing much better. I mean, yeah, he had a pretty bad game today, or was it yesterday? Because Schneeman played today. Um, Still, it's one of those things where at least Arias can actually bring it, and he's a better infielder
Yeah.
by a mile. And Sean, you even said, he doesn't believe that the guards are really high on Brian. So uh, who knows? We could see Juan Brito come up at some point. I mean, he's batting 314 in AAA. We were also discussing Double A Akron has some absolute bangers on that team. That team is raking in Double A. Obviously Bazan is there, but um, they have a three-headed monster over there that are all hitting very, very well. And they just had our starter today. I forget what his name was, but he went like 4 or 5 hitless innings
Yeah, Mace. Yeah.
before before they brought him out. And even Columbus has some guys that are pitching really well. So this team is still very deep, and they still have a lot of fun projects that they can bring up, and it's going to depend on who's going to struggle and who's going to sort of get the nod and who's going to say, hey, you need a little more time. And I hope with Vogt, he gives the certain guys that need a chance to have a chance. But man, you got a guy like Will fucking Brennan hitting grand slams and AAA, man. It's hard to not want him to be up here if one of these guys are going to continue to struggle in right field. Uh, but all in all, I think the guards are fine. I've always said they're fine. I don't think they're in a bad spot. We will see what's going on with Lane Thomas as well. I know he had a wrist contusion. It doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound like anything's broken, but it's going to be sore. So he may have a quick 10-day stint on the DL. And if that's the case, then so be it. But one thing's for certain, the way I'm gonna end this, you gotta keep fucking Manzardo in the lineup no
Mhm.
matter what. At all costs. I know he's gotta have a chance to sit out here and there, but Manzardo needs to be in the lineup 4 out of 5 days if that's the case. Like he's just that good. He really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Manzardo needs to be every day. Um, I do like the fact that I know obviously Lane Thomas is injured, but I do like the fact that both, and I know we talked about this, especially with Sean. We do like the fact that Nolan Jones and John Kenzino are getting consistent at bats now,
Yeah.
because the one thing that hurts those guys and that people again don't seem to realize is that these guys need regular ABs. They need regular at bats to be good and to be consistent, because you
Mhm.
can't start one, give the other one like 2-3 days rest and expect them to rake and do well, and then the other one does the same. You can't expect that shit.
No.
So I'm glad they're getting, and both got hits today. So, and that just shows it kind of a bit, because they both played the last couple of days ever since Lane Thomas went down, and they both got hits. And don't get me wrong, like both are great at getting the ball in the barrel of the bat. Both are great at just keeping a good nose at the plate,
Right.
swinging at strikes. And these are two guys too who I love because they don't go down looking. These guys go down swinging the baseball bat. So I give them a lot of credit for that too.
Yeah.
But in any case, there's some guys that we still need to keep faith in. Guys to lose faith on, it's essentially at this point just Bo Naylor, really, because we've seen enough of him and he's shown that he is not developing. Like you said, there's a reason why we brought Austin Hedges back. It's because guys like Shane Bieber, Tanner Bybee, um, and a couple other pitchers in this especially in this bullpen, like Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah.
They love
Cantillo.
they love Austin Hedges
Yeah.
because Austin Hedges before we traded him a couple of years ago for fucking Mike Zunino and Cam Gallagher of all people. Those are the
Kenny
two idiots.
Atkinson got fucking the check.
Yeah, I have the game. I have the game on my TV next to me, and I was watching
Sorry
it
for
unfold.
interrupting. I saw that. I was like, that's fucking funny. Let's go.
I,
Get
I,
ejected.
I saw it unfold. I was watching it when you were talking. I was like, wait,
That's
Kenny got ejected.
funny.
That's funny.
That's fucking great.
And you can see him mouth fucking bullshit. Like it was great. But yeah, we got Cam Gallagher and Mike Zunino in replace of Austin Hedges, which I thought was a big mistake. The one thing that Austin Hedges does so well is that he knows his pitchers. He knows what pitches they like. He knows where they like them. And the one thing he knows too is he knows the hitters he's facing and knows where, okay, on third strike, they swing the ball low and away. So we're gonna throw a ball low and away because for some reason they like to swing at it like idiots.
Right.
Or low and inside. Or they like to go up and in or something. They like to swing at those pitches. So or if they're just good hitters like your Tatises and your Otanis,
Yeah.
his goal is to say either go very low and away, or we're gonna jam them, go way up and in, and try and get them to jam them. So it's that veteran presence, and it's the fact that he knows his pitchers. He takes the time to know his pitchers, and I don't think Bo does that. I don't think he takes the time to know his pitchers. He seems like a very reserved guy off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And where Austin Hedges is loud, he's annoying. He's that goofball that everyone loves. But it's like that video they posted today on the actual Guardians page of if you were trapped on an island, who would you not want to be with you? And everyone said Austin Hedges because he just talks your fucking ear off, and it can be annoying as shit, but they mean it in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the heart and soul of the
team.
Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what helps this team do so well, is that he's the heart and soul. I mean, we brought him back, and we had one of the most successful seasons we've had in a long time. So
yeah,
but I think having Austin Hedges is very important. I think we should start to see him more consistently over Bo Naylor because he's even hitting better than Bo Naylor, which is even crazier because Austin Hedges is not known for his hitting. And I like what one of my buddies said is that I'd rather have Austin Hedges over Bo Naylor, and I don't care if Austin Hedges can't hit the fucking baseball. It's just the presence behind the plate and his defense and how well. I mean, he picked after a strikeout yesterday. He picked a guy off just he literally just caught strike 3 on the ground, and then just looking at the pitcher, just threw the ball to first base and picked a guy off. Yeah. He does that all the time. It's everyday work. That's the guy I need behind the plate every day over Bo Naylor, not a guy who's afraid of calling for breaking balls, a guy who's afraid to call off-speed pitches. I mean, I don't, especially like you said, with Class A and why his pitches so bad. That's a big reason is because he has Bo Naylor behind the plate only calling for his fastball. Right. That's it. We all know that Class A has a fucking wicked off-speed slider that goes 92 miles an hour, by the way, and breaks a ton.
I mean, and that's what's going to save him is being able to get that slider in. He's throwing cutters and fastballs, and unless you're Chapman, who's throwing 105 sometimes,
which is bizarre.
Yeah, you're just not there's going to be guys that are going to be able to at least get contact with you and get those little chip shots, and that's what happens to Class A, and that's kind of how he seems to slowly unravel. So totally agree, and I think that's what's going to make a difference. And I think you got to start to think about that. Where if you're getting ready to bring in a guy like Class A, you have to decide if he prefers Bo or if he prefers Austin, or who knows if he likes Fry more. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
He could like Fry more.
Honestly, I'll have to do a deep dive and really see who caught like a lot of his saves from last year and go from it, because honestly, that's such a hard one to guess without the proper information. But Point is something does have to give, and Bo is going to have to really clean it up if he's going to continue to be on this team, because there's not a lot of room for him to fuck up and still be able to stay here, especially without his brother here, man. Like, having Josh was a big part of him being able to stay on this team. And the minute he was gone, like, you can easily send Bo packing. And if that's the case, that could very well happen, especially if the guards really need some more pitching, or if they do need another guy, they can go out and use him as part of a trade. So you never know. Like, you really never know what can go on. But again, I'm not worried at all about the Guardians. They're going to be just fine here in a few more weeks, especially as the weather gets a little warmer, which it is supposed to warm up a little bit this week. I know it's supposed to rain, I think, a little bit tomorrow. But I know it's supposed to get up in the 60s at some point, either Saturday or Sunday. So weather is going to slowly get back up. We're going to be in like the 50s for all of like next week. Yeah. So we're getting there. Opening day was like 33, I think, there. And that doesn't include that terrible fucking wind up in Cleveland. If you've ever been up to games, like even Browns games, guys, you know very well that wind off the lake is brutal. In Cleveland, I mean, it's like being up in freaking Chicago. It's so damn windy. It makes it is a considerable fucking difference. But kind of ready to switch it over to some Cavs.
Let's do it.
Do you have the score up right now for the Cavs? Like, where are we at?
We are 8:50 left in the fourth quarter, and the Cavs are up 93-88 or 93-90 because they just scored. I have the game on my TV, so I can easily give you live up-to-date action of. By the way, Sam Merrill just hit like 3 threes in a row too, so Sam Merrill's on the fucking is heating up right now.
Let's go. Yeah, so the Cavs, obviously, as we said at the beginning of the podcast, the Cavs officially have clinched the Eastern Conference's first seed, which is huge. I think that is going to make the biggest fucking difference, especially against teams like Boston and even New York, because when New York comes to Cleveland, they don't have a shot in that dark, man. They don't have a shot of beating us ever. Even the Bucks. I mean, honestly, I think Cleveland's going to end up being one of the harder places to play at besides OKC, LA, and obviously Denver is going to be tough. And Boston will be tough as well. But I don't know. I just feel like the Cavs know how to play these teams at this point. They've been there before. You can't really go to them and say, oh, well, they lack the experience. It's like, well, no, they just haven't gotten far enough yet, but they have the playoff experience now. Like, the lights are not as bright as they were a few years ago for Jared Allen and company. So tonight, you just said that they were up. They are sitting 4 of the 5 starters. Jared Allen got to start tonight, but he's on minutes restriction. He probably hasn't even touched the court since.
No, he's played. Half. He's only played 15 minutes, so his night's over.
Yeah, and the only reason why Jared Allen is playing is because he really wants to play all 82. So I think he's doing a little deal with the team to at least start and then just sit.
It's like he's playing one quarter. Yeah, it's like he's playing just one full quarter and then he's done.
And I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind and I'm curious to hear your take on this. But I would not mind if Garland and even Mobley get sort of that same, action, because, Garland seems to play a lot. Well, obviously he will play a lot more free without, Donovan in the lineup. And he had a great game. Like, the last game he was the high man of 28 points, 6 threes. Like he played a really, really good game, and it would kind of suck to sort of stunt his confidence going into the playoffs. And I definitely wouldn't mind if he would get some minutes, but I also am at the point now of saying just rest the starters. Like, you cannot afford to get anybody hurt, at this point, but you just don't want them to be rusty, know? So it's like this weird fine line. So I'm just curious where you're sort of leaning on that totem pole, because that is a tough one to try to decide these last 3 games.
No, I mean, I said it last show. I said once we get that first seed, just rest everybody. Yeah. Because like we said, it's not the time to put someone in and they end up getting injured. The last thing we need to do is lose a Mobley, lose Allen, lose Garland, or lose Mitchell, and
Right.
even losing Struess. Like, just losing any of the starters is not it's
Ideal.
not
At
okay.
all. Yeah.
So, I'm very much on the boat. You are. I think it's very admirable of what Allen is doing, wanting to play like at least like 10, 15 minutes just to play all 82, just to be like, hey, listen, I was healthy all season. I played all 82.
Right. Get the
Like,
blood flowing a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, and get his confidence up for the playoffs. In those 15 minutes, he had 10 boards, 3 points and 10 boards. So I mean, he got his rebounds. But now's the chance now Kenny Atkinson obviously was ejected earlier in the game. Was ejected like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. So, but it's a chance for him to kind of mix things up a little bit and just see what he has on the bench and see what he can like mix and match and see who does well where, who does well with who.
Right.
As I can tell you right now, DeAndre Hunter has a double. He has 20 points, 11 rebounds.
Love that.
Ty Jerome has 24 points. So Ty Jerome is just a walking bucket.
Yeah, Sam Merrill's got 12.
12,
Okoro's got 13.
Craig Porter's got 11.
11. Yep.
So,
dude, even TT has 9 rebounds and 6 points. I mean, he's playing pretty
yeah.
well for the 14 minutes he's played. But to see guys like Hunter and Jerome still be able to go, especially with Jerome after being off for a few weeks, doesn't seem like he's missing a step. It seems like he's going to be just fine. So I definitely think that his sitting out was just more, precautionary. It wasn't really like a super needed thing. Like if this was playoff time, I think Jerome would have played through it, but he seems fine. He's still doing the same things he was.
Yeah, sorry, DeAndre Hunter just dropped back-to-back threes. So
Ooh,
now
he's on.
So he's now on 23 points. He is 3 of 6 from 3. Got his 11 rebounds. So, I mean, just DeAndre Hunter's playing very well, but like we said, this is a chance for the Cavs to kind of just mix and match, see what this bench is all about. I mean, the bench is beating the Pacers, a playoff team, by the way.
Right.
So it tells you how good this bench is, how deep this bench is, and that even when the Cavs starters go off the floor, I mean, there's no issues that this bench can just drop bucket after bucket.
No.
And the DeAndre Hunter get was the best thing that this team could possibly have done this season. And Garland's on the bench having a phenomenal time right now.
Yeah.
So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Cavs right now. And again, it's one of those things where I don't really care if we win or lose these games.
No, not at all.
It's just a matter of, the guys are out there, they're having a good time, they're playing good ball. And
they're playing a pretty solid team. I mean, the Pacers are not sitting their main guys.
No, they're playing a fully healthy Pacers team, and they're beating them. Like, Halliburton's playing, Siakam's playing, Nemrahart is playing.
In Indiana as well. Well,
and
this is not a Cavs home game. I think the final game of the year is against the Pacers at home for us.
Yeah, it's at Rocket Arena. Because we have the
again. My goodness.
I mean, Sam Merrill's just a walking three. I mean, he gets that one little bit of space, and it's like Kyle Korver. He gets that tiny bit of space, and it's just. I mean, Garland and Ty Jerome are just in their hands on their heads, just like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I got it on. So I have it on my phone, like just below my screen. So if you guys see me like staring like this, just know I'm also watching at the end of the Cavs game. Even though, like, again, it doesn't matter, but it's just fun to see the young guys playing well. I mean, Porter just got an easy bucket. Like,
yeah,
this team has just so much swagger. They have so much, confidence going in. That's what matters. Like that's truly what matters going into, the playoffs. It's not just the winning. It's not just that. It's just that the swagger and in the confidence. When you go back to even the 2016 team, that team had more swag and more confidence than you could ever feel from a team. And I'll never forget. I think it was against Atlanta when we broke the 3-point record where we had like 26 threes or something, or 27 threes. We had like 21 of them in the first half, where we were just, every shot you put up, it was a make. And just being a part of games like that as a fan, like just watching it, you just knew like this team is special, and that's the same exact feeling that I get from this Cavs team. Right now, they are one of those teams that when they are on, there's probably two teams that can still compete with them when they are on like this,
Yeah.
and that's it. Every other team is too slow, and they don't understand how to respond because the Cavs are just so fucking good. And it's God, I can't wait. I'm sure just like this Cavs team, I'm sure everybody's just ready to get this season over with, so that way we can get into the playoffs. I want to know who is going to end up being the eighth seed come this playing tournament shit. So it's going to be fun.
I do have the bracket available too.
All right, yeah, go ahead and throw that up because you're gonna have the mock draft as well, so you might as well.
Yeah, I'll have to get the mock draft set up here in a second, but I will share the at least I will share the seedings, and let me blow it up for you.
Okay, there we go.
Let me do it one more time just to.
There you go. It's literally perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
There we go. All right, so that way I could come looking at it with you on here. But yeah, as of right now, obviously we've locked up us and OKC have locked up the 1 seed.
I'm pretty sure, honestly, everybody in the East at this point with like the main seeds are pretty locked.
I can look it up because it's on obviously the ESPN. So all the playoff positions are. I went to MLB instead of NBA. Whoops. But yeah, I mean every position is locked up. Nobody else in the East can make the playoffs, so it's just a matter of positioning for these teams. Like the Orlando Magic just clinched their division, so they have a Y next to their name, even though they're in the play-in. But they're 3.5 games ahead of Atlanta, so they're pretty much locking up that 7th seed. Atlanta's half a game ahead of Chicago and 2.5 or 1.5 ahead of the Miami Heat. So Atlanta could go from 8 to 10. I don't think anyone can catch Orlando at this point. So Orlando's pretty much got that 7th seed locked up.
Yeah, I think so too.
So it's basically just finding out who's going to be 8, 9, 10. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that, I mean, the Celtics have locked up 2. The Knicks are 2 games ahead of the Pacers for the 3, and they're currently, I think, tied right now. They're down 2 to Detroit. And again, Detroit is chilling 2 games behind the Bucks for 5th. So again, those aren't set, but they're 5 behind the Pacers, so they're not going to catch the Pacers, and the Bucks are probably not going to catch the Pacers. So basically,
everything's pretty locked,
except for basically 3 and 4, which is the Pacers and the Knicks, because those are very close. And I think that's why the Pacers are playing super hard and playing everybody, is because they know they have a chance to be the 3 seed if the Knicks decide to screw up. Which we play the Knicks. I think next is our next game is against New York.
Yeah, we do. I think that's Saturday, maybe.
I think that's Saturday. Yeah. So
it's either Saturday or Sunday. One of the weekends.
So yeah. So basically, it's 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 battling it out. Other than that, all these
West is pretty locked as well. I mean, I think the Lakers and Rockets are still pretty close together.
Actually, so what's close together is so everyone who's out is out in the West. So Phoenix can't make the playoffs. Portland can't make it. San Antonio, New Orleans, and Utah, they're all eliminated, obviously. Right. The Dallas and Sacramento have locked in their play-in spots at 9 and 10. Those can interchange too because they're only separated by a game. So those two can go from 9 to 10 and switch back and forth. But they're basically just playing each other at this point.
It's crazy to see Golden State as a 7th seed right now.
Yeah. Basically Sacramento and Dallas are playing for home court at this point.
Yeah.
Golden State, Minnesota. So basically teams 8 through 4. So Nuggets, Clippers, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Timberwolves are all within a game of each other or a game and a half of each other.
So
it's very close.
So, I mean, everybody's sort of locked in for, at the very minimum, the play-in. But
yeah,
the actual
So like
seeding is
so like
not really a lock after
Minnesota.
2.
So Minnesota can easily go from 8th to 4th, just like
Wow,
that.
that's
And
crazy.
then and vice versa. I mean, even the Nuggets are a game back of the Lakers for third.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've lost like 4 straight, and then they just fired their head coach.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, between them and the Grizzlies, they've both fired their head coaches, and they're both a top 6 seeded team in the West, and yet both co-coaches are gone. Now, apparently,
And they can still catch the
the
Lakers because
Nuggets, right?
they're a game and a game and a half behind the Lakers for third. So they could even
Yeah,
catch the Lakers for that third place spot.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, Golden State is going to be a sort of dark horse team because Jimmy Butler is having them play a lot better. Like
Mhm.
he was certainly a good pickup, but I do think the most important guy that any team has gotten so far was us getting Hunter. I think Hunter
Yeah.
was the best trade that could have happened, and I think it's the most underrated one because it's not talked about within the media a lot because of
Mhm.
obviously Luca. I mean, obviously he is the biggest name that got traded. Nothing is going to compare to that. Um, but they talk about Jimmy Butler, but Golden State was already doing decent. Like it wasn't like they were playing really, really bad ball, but he's just helped them on defense a little more. That's really about it. And it's helping Draymond in his freaking defensive player of the year campaign that he's doing right now, which is stupid because Mobley deserves to win that thing by a landslide. Um, and the Pacers finally just got a lead for the first time in forever. Um,
I love how
but
they're
even
out.
still,
I love how they're absolutely celebrating. It's like you're beating the worst Cavs teams you can play right now. So
right, right.
you can enjoy it, but it don't mean shit for
Exactly.
us.
Exactly.
Um, but but yeah, I mean, the playoffs are looking great. They're pretty much looking set as what you're seeing. Obviously, some things could easily change, especially in the Western Conference. Things can go haywire in just a matter of moments. So obviously, once that time comes, we'll bring everything to you. But as it screams right now, we could either play essentially, depending on who. I think it's going to be. Who do you think is better, Miami or Chicago?
I think Chicago is a little bit more dangerous because of their youth. I think
Yeah,
they're a little more scrappy. They're like how the Magic were. I think the Heat are just such an older team that
they're just washed.
yeah, they're just not a scary team.
Besides Tyler
Uh
Hero.
I mean, like when Bam's on, Bam is great. When even with Hero, like when he's on, he's on. Um Now, I still think the Cavs could easily sweep a team like the Bulls. Um, I think Miami could give us to like 5 games at most. Um, but yeah, the Bulls are a little bit of a scary team. They're just really young, but they're gonna be scrappy. And I think it would be a good first test if the Cavs end up getting them, or if it ends up being the Magic or even Atlanta, that's fine. Atlanta, honestly, is the one team I
Mhm.
definitely don't want to see because we always seem to struggle with them, and it would suck to have to play Levert and Niang
Yeah, I
just
mean,
because of nostalgia stuff.
I, I mean, obviously we will play the winner of the 9 and 8th game, um, and Boston will play the winner of essentially right now the Orlando and Atlanta game. So if like Atlanta wins, then they go and play Boston immediately, and then we would play the winner of it'd be
Yeah,
like Orlando and say Chicago,
right.
and we would play that winner. So unfortunately, that 10th slot kind of screws you because once you lose, you're done. But like 7th and
Yeah,
8th, whoever wins that game immediately goes straight into that seed.
exactly.
So, so I mean, there's a lot to play for in these NBA playoffs and whatnot, and obviously, I'm very excited for the playoffs to begin because they start in I would say what 2 weeks probably.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm trying to figure out when they actually. I'm just gonna Google it real quick. NBA playoff start.
I think
Um,
it's
our
like
playoff schedule. So the play-in tournament begins April 15th. So actually, in 5 days is the playoffs.
so yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. So I
So
think the last game of the season for us is like the 12th or the 13th.
yeah, it's basically this weekend.
Yeah.
or like Monday.
So that's good. I mean, for us at least, that's good. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, so we should be done Sunday, Monday.
Man, that does kind of suck that we play a back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean they've totally
It's kind of
botched
gay.
the fucking schedule. I
That's
think
the NBA for you.
the NBA is kind of terrible at scheduling and shit, but yeah, we play legit the
Oh god.
Pacers, then we play the Knicks
Next, and then the Pacers
tomorrow,
one last time
and then
on
we play the Pacers one last time on
Saturday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like we said, it's about as good as done. The Cavs obviously are um wrapping up their game tonight. Obviously, I think they're just going to lose tonight.
Right.
But like we said, it doesn't bother us. It doesn't matter to us because we don't need to win the rest of these games because it doesn't really matter. It's just more of like for our guys at this point, it's just more pride for them if they win and just some confidence going into the postseason. But yeah, I think that's all I got for the NBA, and I think I'm getting
Same.
ready to move on for the mock draft.
Yes, sir. So go ahead.
Let's
Uh,
switch it
it's
up and
gonna
present.
it's gonna be you
Yes,
this week.
sir. So we got the mock draft and already got it set up. So we got the 7th rounds, Fast, and Cleveland. So let's enter the draft. And all right, so obviously Cam Ward is the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and I think it's pretty clear of where it's not clear where the Browns are going to go. It's clear of basically there's 2 choices essentially. It's the Colorado
Right.
boys. It's just which Colorado boy are they going to take? Is it going to be Hunter or is it going to be
Right.
Shador? So in this scenario, I think we just go with Travis here.
Yeah. Best
I
player available.
think it's just the best player available, and I think with the number 2 pick, that's what you have to do regardless. Just get the best available.
Right.
And I think that's Hunter. So
More
now
than
we're gonna go to
ideal.
33, and I'm surprise here is a trade, and
Horrible trade back.
it's
Jesus.
it's a horrible trade back. So we're gonna reject that, and then we get this one,
Nah.
which we're just gonna reject that too. We're gonna take our 33. So now the question is this the part where we take QB? Do we go elsewhere here? I mean, Dart's available. We could obviously go Jackson Dart.
Go Hampton as well and try to get one of those quarterbacks later on.
I'm just trying to see if any other. Yeah, so the only QB gone is Shador and Cam Ward. Obviously, Shador going to number 9 to the Saints.
The Aints.
The Aints. Although I did see, I don't know if you're on Twitter as of like the last 10 minutes, but I saw a tweet that said that it was, can't remember who it was from, but they said that the Saints players feel like they can make the postseason with Derek Carr. So I don't know if that takes away from them drafting a QB, but that's just something to think about. And I'm sure the Browns are going to think about that too, going into the draft, if that's a true thing, because it might mean a trade up for the Cavs to go and get Shador and Travis Hunter together, which would be, honestly, if Barry does that, then that's just absolutely incredible.
Right.
And I think everyone's going to have the Andrew Berry Lays rise. But here it's tough because, again, you have Amari and Hampton or Jackson Dart. Obviously, down the line, you can go and get Will Howard or Schaff or Milrow.
Right.
Although Milrow flew off the board, he's now 35th ranked, which is crazy. So what do you want to do here? Do you go QB or do you go Hampton or run?
Part of me is cool with Dart, but part of me is very I feel safe with Will Howard's pick.
I was gonna say I feel more comfortable taking Howard a little bit later than trying to force Jackson Dart.
So now I guess the question would be, do you go Hampton or do you go for a D end or do you go for just whatever? Because there's still going to be plenty of really good running backs available.
Yeah, you got Ty League.
Who's going to be a dog?
Kenneth Grant is available. TJ Saunders.
A lot of good D tackles. So, I mean, it just kind of depends on the way you want to go.
I might go for Hampton just because I think we just need a running back. and our
And
running
he's
back is looking kind of skinny.
I mean, I would say he's probably one of the better running backs in this draft
Yeah,
at all. Like between him, I mean, that top four right there, actually even top five, any of those remaining running backs left, I'm taking in a heartbeat no matter where you take them. But
yeah.
like,
And I was gonna see if Genty had a Roz, but he doesn't.
no,
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Omari and Hampton here.
cool. Let's do it. Cool. So we have technically receiver and running back down so far.
Yeah, we can go to
Because
all.
you gotta I mean you have to pretty much assume that Hunter is going to be a wide receiver and not a corner. So you still have Shaw, you still have Will Howard. So we don't necessarily have to pick
Yeah,
either guy yet.
we have. We can go
Could go
edge and go with Oladejo. We have Ashton Gillette or
he's
Gillette.
yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, he's
I
got a nice
know
rough.
I also know the Browns brought in Jordan Birch, and I think
Mhm.
Kyle Kennard also has a
Yeah, we
decent
brought it.
Ross. He's got like an eight and a half.
Yeah, we brought in both. I know we brought in Kennard and Birch.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, so yeah, I mean we could go edge here. You can go fucking linebacker. You can see if a corner or something is really
yeah,
high here. You can kind of go anywhere at this point.
yeah. What's the situation here? Uh, Nothing really too crazy. Nothing until Jalen Reed, obviously, and Jalen
Yeah,
Reed you can get towards like the 120 pick.
exactly.
Um, it's tough, man, because once you get, I mean, Darian Porter would be a dog,
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, a 9.99. That is about as good of a Ross score as you're going to get.
and it's right at this pick too, 67. So it's the perfect pick for the 67th, and I'm thinking about it honestly.
Honestly, I'm okay with it because I mean, you got to think cornerback dips down quite a bit uh,
Yeah, and you
after
could
the
use a
top 100.
corner big time, especially if you want to look at getting rid of Greg
Newsom,
Newsom.
yeah,
So I'm going with Darren Porter just as like a Greg Newsom replacement. I think he could be really fucking good. Um,
fuck you, Steelers.
yeah, we're not gonna we're never gonna trade with the Steelers.
No,
No, we're just gonna reject both of these. So 94, obviously we can go.
so let's see what we got here. So we can. I mean, this is probably either this pick or the next pick is where you're probably going to look for quarterback.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, you could go tackle here. You could go.
I
Well, you
was thinking
could
of
go
like
either
a.
tackle.
I was going to go with the tackle potentially because obviously we do need to address tackle. Logan Brown looks really good, obviously.
Yeah, it is. So is that kid from
Papillo.
UConn as well. I don't think
Yeah,
the kid
Chase
has
Long.
a like he doesn't have a great raw score, but he is really solid. And even so is that Belton kid. All
Yeah,
those guys are very good
yeah,
offensive
Jalen
tackles.
Travis. Yeah, this
There's
is
a
a
lot of good
very
offensive tackles here.
yeah. This is a very deep tackle class for
It
sure.
is. It is.
So that's good for the Browns because especially if we need that, it is a very deep tackle class.
Yeah.
Um, God, this is tough because it's like, okay, do we just go for Will Howard, or I think we can just get him with the next pick, essentially.
I mean, if you really want to trust your gut and just say, "Hey, let's just get our quarterback," then you just get him now.
Yeah,
Just
because especially too, we don't know how
because one
draft's
of
gonna
those
go.
tackles are definitely going to fall in the next 10 picks, where you don't know if Will Howard's going to fall because this draft's random.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead
I'm
and take
cool.
Will Howard
Yeah,
here and
I'm
just
definitely
not
with that.
take chance it. So we got our quarterback, which is good news.
We don't need
Um,
running back. We don't need receiver. We need tight end at some point, but
Point, yeah. I
we
mean, Luke
don't.
Lachey's still available.
Yeah, and
Um,
so also that Jalen Connors kid has a really good broad route score as well.
yeah, and
Yeah,
he's got 219, so you can get
yeah,
him late too if you
yeah,
need to.
yeah.
So again, I'm not worried about tight end right
Tight
now.
end's
Again,
cool.
we can go tackle here. Again, defense. What do we really need other than maybe an edge or some kind of D tackle?
Yeah, we don't really need linebacker yet. Like
No.
that could certainly be a little bit later. The safeties probably at like 179 will get a
Yeah.
solid safety. So I'm cool going for either like a defensive tackle or an edge or even offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Uh, Regardless, it's going to be in the trenches at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
At this
do.
point, it's either edge or tackle, either or.
What's our edge like looking like? So we got Jack Sawyer in there still.
Yeah, we got Barron, Sawyer, Walker,
And then
Diggs,
after that, it gets a little
Jones is good.
okay.
I don't know about Quay Robinson. Powell Ryland's got a 9.91.
I know that Joyner kid's all right. That dude's got a 2 RAS score. That is terrible. Holy
Yeah,
shit. I
yeah, that
think
kid's
there's also a guy later on that that kid from the Tyler Batty kid's pretty solid too.
yeah, he's got 8.7. Elijah
So
Williams is solid. So again, it doesn't. This is the part where it gets tougher and tougher because
it's just
there's
kind of like what's your need more,
yeah, it's all about needs at this point.
and you can still get good D tackles later on too.
Yeah, my thing is, do we go and get an offensive tackle? Because again, you can get good ones in a little bit too.
I'm honestly, dude, I'm not opposed to getting an OT. I really am not.
Yeah, and now it's a question of is it Trapillo or do you go with the guy with the best rods, which would be uh Tutton, which is like a 9.39. Yeah,
Yeah. And the Browns did bring him in yesterday. They've brought in quite a few guys.
yeah.
Um like especially running backs. They just brought in Scabado today. So they've been
Oh,
doing their
that's.
homework on running back now.
Oh, sorry. That's just I meant to go offensive tackle.
Now, yeah.
I
Uh Logan Brown's the best broad score, I think.
Yeah. They I think they did they bring in Brown? I don't remember if we did or not.
I don't know.
But I
But
mean,
he's
he's a big guy. He's
6'6",
311.
311. That's perfect height and weight for a tackle.
Yeah.
I'm
Um
cool.
I'm
I'm
cool
cool
with
getting
getting
him.
yeah, I'll go with Logan Brown here.
Let's do it.
I think an offensive tackle is a big need for us.
This is the only part that sucks about our draft is we have such a wide gap between this pick and the next pick.
Yeah.
Uh, but so you got 179. So this is usually where I look for safeties
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah, you got
So the
Sebastian.
Keaton Crawford's right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
King
obviously
Crawford. I
Basher's
remember
good.
King Crawford. Yeah, Wooler's good.
Hook's
Hook is solid.
good.
Yeah, Trader's ass.
Uh,
Woodson
yeah,
solid.
he's all right.
You got the worst Sander. But I remember King Crawford being one of my favorites. I love King
Yeah,
Crawford, and I think he's going to be a good fit right here.
yeah, absolutely.
And then now we can go more like a D tackle, a guy in the trenches, a D tackle, an edge.
Which the D tackle, you want to think about that the kid from Nebraska, that Robinson
Yeah,
kid.
Ty
He
Robinson's a
is
stud. Which
very good.
again, 176. I mean, I'm good with taking him here at 192. He fell hard,
Yeah.
so I'm good with taking that.
And then next we got to think about tight end.
Yeah, so now that's what I was thinking. We're going back to tight end again. This is where you can get your Luke Lachey's. This is where you can get
I think the other guy went.
Bartholomew. Yeah, Jackson Hawes. Bartholomew's got a good score.
Yeah.
Um, there's a couple good ones I think down here a little bit. Some that
I'm
don't
not
have
sure.
Roz,
Yeah.
but I'm cool with taking
Yeah. Lashley's my
Lachey
boy.
or Bartholomew, and I think Lachey's a great
Yeah.
one.
I think he's a better route runner personally. I think that's why
Yeah,
he'll fit better. All
yeah.
right.
So now we're we're getting close to the end here.
So let's look through our picks so far. I
Yeah,
think we still need a linebacker. I know that
we
much.
need a linebacker because we got
So we got
corner, we got
receiver.
two corner, we got a wide receiver, a corner, you got our QB, running back, OT, safety, D tackle, tight end.
So yeah, we
Now,
really just need a linebacker.
yeah, so now is where you get. I would say you go for
Uh,
linebacker,
which probably one of the
Colin
Oklahoma State
Oliver.
guys. Either
Yeah,
one's really good.
we'll go with Colin Oliver,
Yeah,
and then we will wrap it up with
pretty much just kind of
whatever.
whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah, this is just kind of like the best available again.
Yeah. So like here, like my draft today, I think Dylan Gabriel fell here, and I was like, yeah, I'll just take him. Like
It's
he
just like
was
a
just one of those
bucket.
guys. Yeah. Uh, I mean, Jimmy Horn's still there, so I guess if you wanted another receiver, you could. If you wanted
Yeah, I almost
a
clicked grab. I didn't
center,
mean to.
if you want to double up on
Yeah.
linebacker, D-tech, like you kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, this is kind of just a whatever fucking pick. Yeah, Patrick Jenkins is solid.
or even running back
Um,
if you want to go running back here as well.
I like Marshall a lot too.
Ooh, yeah, so special teams guy, he could certainly
That's
be.
what I mean, like a special teams guy, but he's also good in the corner. Which I'm cool with just taking him because again,
Yeah,
I think
totally
he's a
fine with
solid
that.
player. So here we are.
So yeah, I mean, looking back, to really the only thing we didn't do is end, but I don't think we necessarily like need to grab an end in this draft.
Yeah,
The only way that we do that is if we take an end in the first like 100 picks.
yeah.
And really that's going to decide if we take Hunter or Abdul Carter. Um, that's really going to be a deciding factor. And then, I mean, I don't even know if the Browns are going to take a corner early on like we did. I mean,
Ooh, Jalen
obviously,
Tyson almost hit a game tying bucket.
uh, unfortunate. But the Darian Porter kid is an absolute freak of a corner. Um, so it was hard not to pick him, but you still get our guy at Will Howard, who we obviously both love. Um, it depends on how the Browns are going to view quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did want to bring up too is that TikTok. Before I talk about it, let me make sure I actually properly credit this guy. Hayden Yellow on TikTok. I think he's a Browns kid too. But he made a great point, and I don't think he's the only one that has made this point. But the Browns do very much control the draft right now in terms of how
Yeah.
it's going to go. Like everybody knows the Titans are definitely going Cam Ward at one. There's no shot they don't take Cam Ward. And if they do, the Browns are going to be like, thank you. Thanks so
Yeah.
much. Because other than that, like it seems like the Titans are already locked. The Browns are not a lock. Like I know Travis Hunter is probably going to be the guy that we pick, but he's not a for sure lock. He is not. And the Browns could go, Shadur.
Yeah.
They could go Carter. They could fucking trade back a few spots and get, Mason Graham or something. Like the Browns are so unpredictable and they control the way that the draft is going to fall. And that is an important power that I think Andrew Berry understands a good bit. And it's why I think they're taking such a good majority of time figuring this out and figuring out a path that they need to take. But I will also say too, I don't know if I said this in this podcast or before it. When it comes to the quarterback chosen, whether we take one early or take one later, if you get a guy like a Milrow or a Shadur, I think that is very much an Andrew Berry pick.
Yeah.
If you get a guy that is more of like the Jackson Dart, Will Howard type of guy, or even Tyler Shaw, that's going to be more of a Kevin pick. And I'm curious wherever this one falls will kind of determine the power balance of this team. And it's going to be interesting to see if Barry is still going to be really calling the shots or if he's going to really let Kevin have a pick or two in this draft, because I think he deserves to as the head coach, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. It's the most important position. They all know it. They all talk about it. Obviously having to pass up a guy like Travis Hunter is going to be really hard to do. He's the best overall player in this draft. You and I have loved him since day one. So that's why I'm not mad about that. If we do choose him, but I'm telling you what, man, if it ends up being Jalen Milrow, I don't know if I'm going to be a happy camper. And I know there's fans out there that don't want Dart anymore, that I don't want Milrow. I
I
see a lost cause at Milrow.
I think so many people in the I think it's half split of
It
like
really is split down the fuck middle.
because there's people like you and me who would rather have Dart or Will Howard, or there's people that would rather have Jalen Milrow. And to be honest, if that's the fucking case, then if we draft Shador too, I'm like, fine, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'll take it.
Right.
That way, the whole fan base is kind of happy. It's like, okay, cool. We don't have to argue about Jalen Milrow or Jackson Dart. Nobody has to be depressed or sad or, all like, I'd rather like my pick would be Travis Hunter at 2, obviously. I think that's just you go with the best available pick,
Yeah.
which is Travis Hunter. He's the best player in the draft. Um, and then I think the other thing that you really do, in a sense, is you either A, trade up for Shador and see if you can't snatch him, or B, it's got to be Dart or Howard. I just think those guys fit so much better in the Kevin Stefanski offense. Uh, Someone said that if you get Jalen Milrow, you will have to do what you did with Deshaun Watson this past season, is you had to change the offense again.
Right.
And do you really want to change the offense again to fit a guy who, number one, isn't really that good at throwing the football? Like, everyone praises him, but it's like this dude can't throw.
Right.
He's don't get me wrong, he's a great runner. He reminds me of like a Lamar Jackson in college. He's a great runner, but the dude can't fucking throw.
Right.
Or when he does throw, it's into triple coverage and it gets picked.
Yeah.
And do I really want that? Fuck no. I'm tired of seeing that on the Browns. Like why is everyone a Browns fan base all like, hey, let's get guys that would just remind us of the last guy that we have, so we could be so much more upset and sad that we picked a guy who's just like the last guy we just had.
Yeah.
Like, cool, let's do that. Or we can get a guy like Shador who could be a massive game changer. Or we can go and get a guy like Will Howard who could almost resemble, if you saw the Jay Gruden QB corner, whatever it's called, on Barstool Sports. Jay Gruden said it. Will Howard resembles almost like a Josh Allen type of quarterback. Yeah. The exact same height and weight.
Yeah.
They can run the ball very well. And they're both got cannons for arms, and they're both scary, accurate, and good.
And they're good athletes.
They're great athletes. And the thing is that if Will Howard develops, he could be another just Josh Allen type player.
Right.
And do you really want to pass on that for Jalen Milrow just to pray that, well, look what Philly did. They took a gamble on Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts was the exact same way in college where he couldn't throw the ball, but he could run well. But now that he became a good it's like, yeah, because he's got like a top 2 wide receiver. He's got the best wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's got the best offensive tackle in NFL history. He's got all the help in he got Saquon Barkley, for Christ's sake. Like,
and the best O line he could have possibly had, and then a stellar defense that they've built from the ground up.
Do you really think that Jalen Hurts would succeed in Cleveland? Probably fucking not.
Not like that.
And not like that. He would take us to the playoffs.
He would definitely elevate the team, but he wouldn't be winning us a Super Bowl without roster.
And my God, is that Philly defense so freaking good?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The defense, like, it's talked about, but like people tend to forget.
And I love the people who say like, "Oh, don't draft Abdul Carter because you can't do what the Eagles do and build a perfect defense and expect to win." It's like, did we just forget the Ray Lewis motto of defense wins championships?
Right.
And well, guys, like, we got to score points. Yeah, no shit. But you also got to prevent points too. That's the whole part of the game. You got to prevent them from scoring too, as much as.
The Browns went fucking 11-6 the previous year before, and we had 5 different quarterbacks play. We didn't score a lot besides running the ball. So if the Browns can at least get back to running the ball well and
back to that perfect defense,
and then just bring in a competent quarterback. Like, I don't love Kenny Pickett, but he's not going to brutally lose you a ton of games. He's not going to wow you, but he is going to kind of help you stay in the game. And I think that's all you can ask in a Kevin Stefanski offense.
He's a steady quarterback who.
So if it ends up being that route, so be it. But then at least when you bring in a guy like Howard, there's no pressure to bring him up. And I think that's where a lot of the fans are. Where if they take a quarterback, in the first 2 or 3 picks, the pressure of them having to start early on is going to be up there.
Yeah.
And none of these guys, besides maybe Tyler Shaw, is ready to start an NFL game right away. And
Yeah.
the only reason why Tyler Shaw can do that is because he's been playing for fucking 7 years. He was in the same quarterback class as fucking Trevor Lawrence and DTR.
Yeah.
All right, just let that one sink in.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I think the best move is if you want to get Shador is you take Hunter first and then you move up to get Shador. So that way there's no pressure on him to start immediately. You can go and get your bridge quarterback, whether it be at this point it's either Kirk Cousins or Joe Flacco, most likely. You let Sanders sit for a year, then Sanders comes out and balls out the next year. So and I like the fact that you can have a Hunter Shador combo.
right.
And that wide receiver room would be nasty having Tillman, Hunter, Judy, if they bring more back.
Right.
Like that's a nasty wide receiver room.
Yeah, it really is.
And listen, sometimes you got to make the gutsy moves. And if Andrew Berry does the trade up to get Shador and Hunter, then it tells you that it wasn't Andrew Berry. It was more or less Kevin Stefanski pushing for it.
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski pushed for it, and that's what he wanted. Or if you see Shador at number 2, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what Stefanski wanted was, listen, I need my quarterback. I need him now. Like, just give him to me.
Right.
um, But, hey, even Travis Hunter could be his pick, and the move up could be the ideology. But at this point, it's the unknown of what the Saints will do.
Right.
So, with that, I got nothing.
Yeah. I pretty much got nothing else on that. Like I said, I know I've said this quite a few times now. I'm just ready for this fucking draft to get started. We're
Me
almost
too.
there. We will not be streaming for the first round or even probably the second round as well because I'll probably be busy too. So probably no streams, but depending on what we want to do, we'll do an episode before or we'll just do a whole ass recap afterward or even stream then. Who knows? We'll get there when we get there. But no stream for the first day. But yeah, we're getting close, man. So we are almost at the point where we can stop talking about this and we can start talking about who's going to start.
Yep.
How's this team going to look? What's the sort of expectation, and that's the only conversation that I really want to have at this point. The draft is fun, but it is exhausting at this point in time with how much we've talked about it. So ready for that to be done for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that's going to do it.
Yes, that is going to do it. We've been talking now for an hour and 17 minutes. So guys, we are going to hop off. But as always, we will see y'all next week. Again, by this time next week, we're going to have to start at the playoffs, getting ready to commence. So we'll obviously have a full episode prepping for that. We'll talk more guards, and if anything crazy happens, we know with the Browns we will. But for now, it'll be Cavs and guards. So
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.